Do have some breaking news from Fnatic. Now, due to an urgent family matter, Upset has returned home and will not be playing for Fnatic in the group stage until further notice.
For the match, it doesn't even matter really when you leave. You're fucking your team regardless.
He is feeling each word that he types.
By the looks of it, Adam was struggling, right? He's being replaced. He didn't do anything at Worlds because his AD carry left, and now Fnatic management wants to replace him. He has no right to anyone. He doesn't owe anyone anything. This is his life.
Whatever happened behind the scenes at Fnatic's Worlds performances this year leaves many a mystery and has left many of the players, staff, and fans without proper closure. Nobody truly knows the true intentions of Upset or Fnatic, and the stress of the situation for the team and the organization has brought to light the need for answers. This has been reflected in Adam's recent statement that legitimately fielded his desire to leave the team and highlighted the insane amount of stress that people like us in the community wouldn't really be able to imagine or relate to. So who's right? Was it truly okay for Upset to do what he did, or is Adam justified in his disgust for the org at Upset? This issue is complicated, and although I would say there's no true answer, I think we can put all the pieces together and come to terms with why everyone feels the way they do. Okay, so a 30-second TLDR for those of you new to the situation. Back when Worlds started, Upset left Worlds basically right before his first match started, which basically spelled disaster for Fnatic at Worlds that year, making for some of the most stressful shit that any team has gone through in recent history. Upset stated that his departure was for emergency personal reasons, and at that moment, the team could do nothing but trust him at that time. But now, with Adam confirmed to be off the Fnatic roster, he reveals some of his feelings about the situation after the fact. He goes on to state that Upset leaving Worlds like that is illegal as a player because from his point of view, Upset ended up just leaving for his wife. This is entirely because Upset refused to reveal anything about his situation, with almost no one in the situation knowing what's going on. To add fuel to the fire, Adam heard information about him getting replaced after this completely unfair situation at Worlds, partially due to the conversations with Upset. This essentially left a very sour taste at the end of his rookie season because from his point of view, it essentially felt like he didn't get to prove himself at the most important competition of the entire year, and because of that, he gets shafted both by the team and management. So to summarize how Adam felt, he feels that he deserves an explanation to what's going on, as both his dream of Worlds and the solid start to his career were both essentially stolen from him because of the situation, which is justified. He feels that he was also not supported by Fnatic and not respected as a player because of the way this played out as well, and that's another reason why he feels this way. I'll explain Upset's side of the story before putting all of the info together and kind of make sense of everything for everybody. In a slew of opinions and pressure coming out from a lot of the League of Legends community, Upset goes on to respond to the situation himself with his own perspective on the situation. He states that he has a good reason to really not share this information and that he has no obligation to anyone that he doesn't trust. Upset also points out some harsh truths about the industry here, especially on social media where people can just misinterpret and spread information around when that's not really what he wants, emphasizing that he should be allowed to simply protect those that are closest to him. He's aware that not giving this information to his team or his organization indeed has implications on others' impressions of him, but also clarifies that his wife was not the reason for his departure, finding it rather offensive that people assumed this was the reason for his departure. In spite of his efforts to put out as many fires as possible during the departure, he did end up telling Yamato Cannon of the situation, who understood. The reason that he didn't tell everyone was because he wasn't on that level of trust with all of the players yet, so he just did not want to potentially expose himself for that. As an aside, it appears that he only assisted in the Fnatic roster change situation because he was asked to, and wants the best for the organization. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, let's lay down all of the cards together and dive a little bit deeper as to the reason both players feel the way they do. Just to reiterate, it's not productive to figure out who's wrong or anything like that. This is just a real, unfortunate, complicated situation that can happen in teams, and we're here to expose why it's actually unfair to both players and how we can come to terms with that. For Adam, I think his feelings are fair and justified from the way he's been treated as a player, especially in the situation. I think Doublelift sums up the way he feels well.
An explanation. I actually agree with Adam so hard here that privacy is not a good excuse for not telling your teammates why you have to leave. This is something that is so important to everyone. This is literally everyone's dream. Like, this is everyone's, possibly the most important part of these people's lives is like playing at Worlds right here. This is everything that they've worked for. So, you know, I say like, fuck the privacy. You owe your teammates an explanation for why you're leaving. You don't have to give them all of the details. but you just have to justify why you're leaving enough so that they can understand. That's at least what you owe your teammates.
It cannot be understated how much weight going to Worlds has on professional League of Legends players. It's literally all they work for. Thousands and thousands of games, unimaginable stress. Players could retire and die happy knowing that they had a good showing at Worlds. But when your team goes there and just gets their chances 100% taken from them, of course you're going to want to know what's up. From his perspective, Adam and probably even other players on the inside have this untapped feeling that Upset better have a really fucking good reason to break the team and not really tell anyone. You broke their dream. For some, you greatly impacted their career, their lives, so there's a level of expectation that you can at least tell your teammates about why. But here's the thing, this is also Upset's dream. Just as hard as any other player on the team, Upset out of anyone would want this to work. Someone like Upset is not going to get to the world stage without also knowing how much it means, how much it matters to a player. Imagine literally having your dream in front of you on the table, playing on stage, showing the world what you're made of, and you have to be the one yourself to step away from that, potentially for the rest of your and your team's lives. I just want to get that in your head because there's a lot of weight there that really hasn't been emphasized enough. Of course, being random people that don't know the players or the team, we really have no right to pretend to know anyone in the situation, their true habits, or their personalities. But even I can see when someone has to do something like that, there must be something absolutely terrible going on. Maybe we're wrong, and if it's a shitty reason or something like that, then yeah, I agree. It's unacceptable behavior, and I really think Upset should be punished. But based on the level of discipline that it takes to make a decision like this, and respecting the fact that Upset is a competitor at the highest level, I really think that he probably has a good reason. This is an extremely personal matter at the end of the day, and Upset doesn't feel like he needs to share that with the world, even if he is a public figure in that sense, and to that it also makes sense why he's just hesitant to share. It however also makes sense that as a competitor, Adam should be able to know the reason why as well. That's the root of this issue, and it's honestly really tough for everybody involved. But at the end of the day, there are some truths to uncover. Social media is extremely frustrating and scary for players and anybody in the esports space, and anything you say or do can and will be twisted to an incredible extent. If something this sensitive and personal to Upset goes around and gets twisted, it's the least he can do to try and prevent that. Although Adam feels like he should know, I don't think it's fair to put assumptions about that reason out in the public. My opinion is honestly that knowing the reason probably doesn't even fix anything about the situation and isn't really that productive at this point. If you tell anyone, eventually the world will know, Upset exposes himself for basically no real reason, and then the internet forgets about the drama next week. There is the possibility that it was a bad reason, but do you really not trust your teammate to that point? If you think one of the best players in the entire region and possibly the entire world can make it to the world stage and just leave without understanding what that means and without respect for the craft, then yeah, that's my bad. But I really think, based on how things played out, I don't think that's the case.
He has shared some details with me, but I don't need to know everything. I just need to know who he is. And I know who he is. And he didn't take this decision lightly. Not at all. He knew what it would do to me and to Hilly, you know? Like, he's so close to Hilly, right? But Hilly, same way as me, you know? He understands. Because he knows Elias. The same way I know Elias. If he had to do this, it is for a very good reason.
If you know someone and work with someone as determined and driven as Upset, I really don't think you should need the reason. I think both people are entitled to feel the way they do, but at the end of the day, this is simply how teams operate, and people's own privacy should be respected. I have the absolute utmost respect for both players for going through this, and I don't want to pin anything on either of them. I hope I provided some much needed context to the situation here, and opinions are my own. Take it easy.